Okay, let's jump right into this comprehensive explainer on PVC foam board, drawing from an incredibly detailed 2026 guide by Fidar System. If you're a Canadian fabricator, sign builder, or contractor, you already know this material is a total shop floor staple. But today, we're really going to break down the why behind that, how you can maximize its potential on the floor, and where to source it much smarter.
We've got a lot of ground to cover in this explainer. We'll start with what PVC foam board actually is, run through the major weight and cost perks, clarify the dangerous foam core trap, share some essential fabrication secrets, talk about surviving Canadian weather, and wrap up with your best bet for a local plastic supplier.
Section 1. What is PVC foam board really? Let's demystify it.
The chemistry here is actually pretty fascinating. Technically, PVC foam board is rigid polyvinyl chloride that's been expanded with a blowing agent into a fine closed-cell foam and then consolidated into a solid, homogeneous sheet. Now, the absolute key takeaway here is that this isn't some flimsy hollow core covered by a thin skin. It is the exact same tough, durable plastic as a standard white PVC pipe. It's just been foamed down to roughly half of its solid density. Because of that fine cellular structure, it stays rigid, it's completely waterproof, and you can easily work it with everyday hand tools.
And because of that core chemistry, you really shouldn't get hung up on specific brand names. You hear names like Sintra, Komatex, Palight, Celtec, and Forex thrown around the shop all the time. But honestly, whether it's stamped Sintra from 3A Composites or Komatex from Comerling, you're buying the exact same class of highly workable, free foam expanded PVC. It's the material specs that matter, not the sticker on the back.
Moving right along to Section 2, weight and cost advantages. Let's talk about why lighter really is better.
PVC foam board absolutely transforms the logistics and the budget of large-scale display projects. The density gap between substrates is massive. PVC foam board comes in at a mere 0.55 grams per cubic centimeter. To put that into perspective, that makes it less than half the weight of acrylic, which sits at 1.19, and a tiny fraction of tempered glass up at 2.5.
So what does that density actually mean for you on the floor? Well, it means a full 4x8 foot panel of 6mm foam board weighs roughly 10 kilograms. That is a genuine zero-strain, one-person lift. Imagine you're dealing with a huge trade show booth that needs to fly across the country and get assembled by just 2 people in a single morning. When your materials are this light, those weight savings translate directly into massive reductions in freight and labor costs.
And hey, fabricators love hard numbers. Buying full sheets keeps your material costs incredibly low. Based on real Canadian market data, the super popular 6mm size sits at just about $1.30 per square foot when you buy the sheet. Sourcing full 4x8 boards directly from a B2B supplier completely bypasses those wild premium prices you'd pay for small, pre-cut, branded pieces at a local hardware store.
Section 3. We need to talk about avoiding the foam core trap. Please don't mix up your boards. People casually use the term foam board to describe completely different things, and it drives me crazy because they couldn't be more different. PVC foam board is solid, waterproof, and engineered for permanent displays. Foam core? That's the paper-faced polystyrene you buy at an art store. It's dense if you look at it wrong, and if you leave it out in the rain, it literally turns to mush. If your job has to survive handling, weather, or years of actual service, you absolutely need solid PVC foam board, no question. And it outclasses plenty of other materials, too. Sure, Gatorboard might be stiffer, but those edges chip easily, and it definitely isn't waterproof. Corrugated plastic, or Coroplast, is hollow and ribbed, meaning you can't route clean letters out of it, and it won't take a premium flat print. And MDF? Oh boy, it swells the second it touches moisture, and it weighs a ton. PVC foam board is really that perfect, durable, routable middle ground.
Section 4. Fabrication and finishing secrets. Let's get into some shop floor machining tips.
Processing this stuff is wonderfully simple, especially if you break it down by gauge. For thinner 3 to 6mm sheets, you can literally just score and snap them by hand with a fresh utility knife. Once you move up to 10mm and thicker, a standard circular or table saw gives you a beautifully crisp edge. And if you're doing high volume or complex shapes, say routing deep letters from a beefy 24mm base, firing up the CNC router leaves flawless, fuzz-free edges every single time.
But listen to me closely on this safety warning. Because PVC is roughly 57% chlorine by mass, you must absolutely never throw it in a laser cutter. I mean it. It vaporizes into hydrogen chloride gas. That gas will rapidly corrode your expensive equipment, and, more importantly, it is genuinely hazardous for you to breathe. So keep it on the router and the saw.
Now, when it comes to standard printing and finishing, this material is a dream. The bright white satin face takes digital inks, whether that's UV, solvent, or latex, beautifully, and you don't even need a primer. It's a fantastic substrate for pressure-sensitive sign-grade vinyl, too. Oh, and here's a massive time saver. Black foam board is colored straight through the core. That means your routed edges look perfectly finished right off the table. Literally zero edge painting required.
Section 5. Outdoor durability in Canada. Dealing with the sun, the snow, and overall lifespan.
Surprisingly, moisture really isn't the enemy here. That closed cell structure we talked about, it totally ignores rain and brutal freeze-thaw cycles. It is not going to swell or rot during a wet Ontario spring. Sunlight is your true enemy. Prolonged UV exposure will cause the surface to chalk and fade over about 1 to 3 years. But you can easily get around that. Simply budget for a UV laminate, and you'll extend your sign's outdoor life way past that standard span.
The other crucial thing for outdoor installations is thermal movement. Rigid PVC expands noticeably when it heats up. A large 2.4-meter panel can actually move several millimeters across a wild 40-degree Canadian temperature swing. So always remember to fasten it through slightly oversized holes and leave expansion gaps. If you pin the panel completely rigid, it's going to bow. You have to let it breathe with the seasons.
Section 6. Your Canadian plastic supplier. Let's talk about Fidar system.
If you want to stop overpaying, skip the marked-up craft stores and retail hardware chains. Fidar System operates as a direct B2B supplier out of their North York warehouse, and they don't just carry every thickness of PVC foam board you could need. They also stock a massive lineup, including cast and extruded acrylic sheets in clear, colors, and pastels, aluminum composite panels, which we all know as ACM, polycarbonate roll stock, and even specialty items like hexaban honeycomb composite panels. It's basically a one-stop shop.
But here's where they really show they understand your bottom line. $700. Why does that number matter? Because it unlocks an incredible shipping promotion for wholesale fabricators working in Canada.
You can actually enjoy free delivery on your very first order, as well as on any orders over $700 Canadian. Standard terms and conditions apply, of course. You can easily bundle your shop's plastics, mixing PVC, acrylics, and ACM to hit that threshold. Just head over to fidarsystem.com to lock in those savings and streamline your material workflow.
So, considering the massive weight savings, the waterproof core, the super forgiving fabrication, and that competitive B2B pricing from Fidar System, isn't it time to rethink the substrates you rely on? Will you upgrade your next project to lightweight PVC, or are you going to let heavy, expensive alternatives keep weighing your business down? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy fabricating.